Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into the She Can Ball podcast. I'm your host, Mahi Jariwala. Today we're joined by Celia Newman, the founder of Elite Level Prep and the She Got Game League. So thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
So can you give us a quick introduction of yourself?
My name is Celia Newman. I founded She Got Game League back in 2019. It is a semi-pro league for women. We've expanded to actually 4 cities now. We're in Memphis, Chicago, Nashville, and we'll be in Huntsville coming soon. So I started the league just to give women more exposure in the sport and to give them more opportunities to get professional contracts from, playing in the league and someone seeing them. The proceeds that I make from the league, I give back to different girl programs in the community. So it is a passion for me just to push the mission for women's sports. That's kind of why I started the league, and it has grown way bigger than I ever expected it when I first started it. But we're doing really well, and I love the success we're having, and people are constantly reaching out, wanting to partner and bring the league to their city.
Yes, so can we focus in on that? When did you start that, and what inspired you to even start that?
I've been in Memphis almost 7 years now. I worked at the University of Memphis in the academic program. So I basically were just monitoring athletes and making sure their grades, were keeping them eligible. I started a program called Elite Level Prep. It's my nonprofit. So basically we help athletes with personal development, academic development, and career development. I was playing in a little rec league around the city, and I just noticed that we weren't getting a lot of exposure. It's just a rec league, but there's really talent here in this city. So that's kind of where it came out of my head, like, okay, let's start something, put all the glitz and glamour behind it and get the video and the DJ and just make it really big so these people can see there's women here that still can play ball. And that's really kind of how it branched out of my head.
And how did you even start, even beginning with those runs, right? When it was a really small thing just in your city. How did you even start that? I think it can be hard for people to even get that first start in achieving what they want to do.
Well, how I got it started, really, I was just going to different open runs. Like I would see people hosting them, so I would go and just watch the ladies. I finally got to one where Ashley Shields was there. If you don't know her, she's the first female athlete drafted from a junior college to the WNBA. She got a WNBA championship with Detroit Shock. She's just great here in the city. She's an awesome basketball player. So I reached out to her. I met her at the gym, and I told her my idea because I was posting, but no one was responding, about signing up to play. And I told her, she loved it. I don't know what she did that night, but the next day, 60 people signed up. And then that's kind of how it blossomed overnight. I appreciate her for spreading the word because probably wouldn't be where I am without her telling people about the league.
And how did you even start planning the league and building a program for that?
Kind of basically from experience. I told you I had a nonprofit already, and I hosted a lot of camps. And so I just kind of put my expertise for building camps and just put into the league spectrum. And I just wanted to make sure there were so many moving parts to make it fun, make sure the fans were engaged. Like we do halftime games and throw stuff in the crowd. We really try to make it feel like it's a WNBA game, like the environment. I think that's why it's been going so well. Just people love to come because it's fun. They get to watch women's basketball and have fun at the same time.
And you talked about expanding it to different states. How was that?
I really social media has really helped that expansion. Far as that, I had people just reach out. They love what we're doing, and they say, "Can you please bring this to our city? We don't have anything like this." And just after a few meetings, and I go up there and see the gym and see the women, it just kind of happens that way. And the expansion has been really fun because I've gotten to meet a lot of different people in different cities to grow the league.
Awesome. Then, like you talked about, like trying to make them get pro contracts. Like, how does that work?
So each city has their own video person. So I mainly try to make sure they get good highlights of the players. And then players also, ask them to get specific highlights of them so that they can have film to send to agents. And, we broadcast the games on YouTube and on our website. So there's so many different ways for agents and different people overseas see these women play. At one point they weren't getting the exposure. So now people are actually seeing them. So they're getting contracts. Like we had a girl, Whitney Houston. She played last season. She's on the Rwanda national team. Someone saw her and she's living her dream now. So I feel like, what I'm doing is good. Like that's why I do it. If someone gets a contract or they get to go play professionally, my job was done.
And like, what is your background in sports?
So I played at Bethel University. I played there 2 years and I hurt my knee, tore my MCL, PCL, meniscus, and I was like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I left there. I transferred to UT Martin. I got my bachelor's in athletic training. Then I went to Austin P State University and I got my master's in sports and wellness leadership. So that's kind of where my background in sports came from. I love the academic side, so I really try to stay on that side. I still coach. I'm an assistant coach at Arlington High School. So I get to do the academic part of my passion. And then the women's league is just the basketball side. So I get to do what I love every day. So it's great.
Yeah. And then you also founded Elite Level Prep. Do you
Hmm
want to talk about that?
I founded Elite Level Prep in May of 2015. Basically, just from working at the University of Memphis, I saw the athletes were a little behind, academically, personally, and I wanted to start something at the high school level. So that's kind of where Elite Level Prep came from. Right now, I just kind of travel to different schools and I host workshops, basically teaching them personal life skills. I do ACT prep. We do a lot of career development, social media etiquette. I'm really big on the NCAA compliance and now, the big NIL name, image, and likeness. So that kind of has taken on a whole nother path for me, helping athletes with that stuff. I also have a sports consulting agency called Up Next Sports. I do that with my partner, Christian Francis. So I have like a three-headed house over me, but I still get to do all three lanes, and what I love to do. So it kind of works out perfectly.
With the Elite Level Prep, like, how did you even make a program for that?
Man, it just took a lot of reading and research. So I created an online course for it as well. And I just want athletes to get the help that they need so they can be successful. So I create a whole curriculum. That's what I go in the schools and do. It's like a 10-week program, and we cover everything from life skills to financial planning to career development. It's basically just to help these athletes because the stereotype for us, like we're dumb, we don't know anything, we just can play sports. So I wanted to make sure once basketball is over, they have a backup plan. They can still go out and get a job or start their own business, and still be successful outside of sport.
Yeah, no, I think that's so needed right now because injuries, anything happens, like, what is your backup plan? Because it can go
Exactly.
away just like that.
Exactly. Yep. That's true.
And then with your media and consulting firm, Up Next Sports, like, how did you even get in like the media realm and in that sense?
So my friend Christian, she had DM'd me actually, and she wanted me to speak at her event, but I was out of town that weekend. But I loved what she was doing as far as a marketing branding standpoint. And we just stayed in touch. We kept talking after she DM'd me and we built a relationship. And we was like, well, why don't we just start this company and, help these college and pro athletes, get to the next level as far as their brand, starting their own brand, starting their own company. We could help them. So I partnered with her and started Up Next Sports. We started in last year, actually, May 2020, during the pandemic. So, but we stepped out on faith and it's been going well as well. We have NBA prospect Kyrie Walker. as one of our clients. So we're trying to help him, as he gets prepared for the draft, and he wants to start his own foundation. So we're helping him with that. So it's kind of just taking on a life of his own as well.
I know that's insane. Kerry Walker is a really big guy, especially on social media. Like, how is it
Mhm.
to just be able to advance this and have big clients like that?
Word of mouth, when we first started, we dealt with little mini clients, our clients here in Memphis and Dallas. And then, word of mouth, someone talked to his mom and then she reached out, and that's kind of how it happened. Like when we got the phone call, we were both screaming in the phone, like, how did this happen? We weren't ready, and you just kind of roll with it and you get ready, because you never know who's going to be that next big client that calls.
Exactly. But lastly, do you have any advice just for anyone looking to be an entrepreneur and like in that realm? Because you've done such a great job with that with these three amazing organizations, and it just seems like you're just really good at being able to just go out and start something. I think that can be really hard. So
I would say basically, I'm a very big person on planning. I don't jump out there. I try to plan it. Sometimes it takes me a year. I plan it all the way out. And I write my vision down, I write my dream down, and I go for it. We as women, so much people downplay us or tell us we can't do it. And that really pushes me to beat them, prove them wrong. Like we can do everything a man can do. So my advice for women in sports and young girls that are trying, just prove them wrong. Like if you have a dream, do it. Don't let anybody stop you. Just stay motivated and push through, because the reward is so awesome when you get it out there and you're successful.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.